Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my name is Shark Warlian, and we would be learning about classes and a lot about how I actually mastered classes and understood about them, right? So, um, I just want to do a quick check if my stream is kind of like running all right, and once that quick check is done, we would be actually moving forward. So, like, because last time we understood about how classes and attribute, and pretty much give you an idea about how it's all about trying to manipulate the attributes that are associated to some instances, but then in order to create multiple instances which have the same attributes, we have to create a class because class is just similarity across attributes. Though the attributes, the value of that attribute in itself is arbitrary, it can be high or low, but those attributes persist across multiple instances. That's why we create a class so that we can represent that or something like that, if you see what I mean. Okay, so we are definitely live, right? And yeah, so if I were to show you my screen, let's me just actually add the code block. Today, let's just change the things. Today it's day 4, and yeah, the concept is still going on revision because, like I told you, I took a break from learning Python for a long time, so now I'm kind of like fucked over. Right. Problem solved, problem concept mastered. We already mastered a lot of basic concept, but I think we can also are on the way to master classes, right? But it's like it's not doesn't include the old stuff that I've already learned, so that's kind of a sad. But yeah, right. So we have this here, so like yeah, so you can see my face is pretty much appearing beautiful on the like on the thing. So I think I do not have to worry about my face. But yeah, let me just get some water because well after finally a long time, guys, I got about a sleep of 9 hours. Now, for if you have been like watching past couple of streams, you would know that I haven't been able to sleep all much. Like so. Finally, I got the 9 hours sleep, and I'm feeling more tired than rested. That's because this is what they call the concept of sleep depth. It's like so you have depth at the start of the sleep because like you weren't sleeping enough. So because of the depth accumulate, right? That depth or whatever, not depth, it's depth, DEPT, right? So that accumulates over time. So even when you sleep for 9 hours, like body's constantly trying to minimize that damage that has happened because of less sleep, and that makes you more tired. So for a couple of days, if not weeks, you remain tired because like. But if I wake up again today with 6 hours of sleep, I'm not gonna be tired because the body doesn't even put the effort to actually recover from the damage we accumulate every day, right? It's just like fuck it. That's what it does. So it takes about a week or something. So it first starts to recover the damage, and only when run of feedback loop starts to appear, and we have better health, I suppose. So I'm gonna speak a ton and go to washroom a ton, I suppose. Yeah. So here's another class that I created on the screen, guys. The chat, look at it. Right. So we have like, am I looking all right? Yeah, I'm looking all right. Right. Yeah. For some reason, my skin looked bright today. Maybe because I slept more. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, who cares? So yeah, because sleeping would do affect skin, but I don't think so. You would have massive effect in just a one day. That would have make like yeah. So that's pretty much unlikely. It's just maybe the lighting is today better, or maybe the sun is like just happened to be me in my favor because there's windows there, right? So that kind of like determines a lot of how I look, right, in the camera. So we have like the class user, as you can see on the screen. Time to get back to work, guys. So we have a class user. We have def int like self, first name, last name, age, location. And before we get back to work, actually, there's just one thing I wanna show you guys, which shows us about the like my commitment, right? I mean, I hope you guys would be able to see it, definitely, right? So here's how much did we studied about it last day, right? I mean, this is like gives us the total amount of studying that we did last day, right? So we have like a reflection, but not today, yesterday, right? So yesterday I did stream, right? So that book was open up. I worked on my script for just 20 minutes. I worked on that book for like 1 and 10 hours, but a lot of time it doesn't actually count. I think I should add that as a like I should change the filter because what happens is like whenever it's let me just add it here, Audacity, and like Actually, let's go back. Let's open setting in a new page, because it doesn't actually record it when it's like, yeah, I'm inactive in the background, which is all right. Before that, how much did we code? We code about 3 hours. We reached about 3 hours of code. In fact, like, yeah, 3 hours of code, like just about the day before yesterday. So if you know my series, it's like half the time you're studying like half the time you're kind of studying reading books, and half the time you're studying books, right? So thinking in systems, again, 1 hour, but I did more than 1 hour. It's because, like, yeah, it's not recording in the background. Damn, that's actually not a good thing that's happening with me. So we would actually change that. We would actually, like, will never be counted as AFK. Can we use account time active despite no meaning? An empty string disabled set example. Right. So we need, okay, no, not this. We need to make thinking in system ashlight as a, like a, yeah, we can just copy this kiddo here, right? And we can just make it like something like obsidian, control C. I think now what's gonna happen, guys, is like, even if I'm not constantly touching the paragraph of the book, it's still gonna be recorded as yes, it's still gonna be recorded, which just kind of works in our favor. Yeah, this works in our favor. All right. So now it's gonna get recorded even when, and I can actively track. Oh, that day I just did programming for 26. Whoa. Yeah, we just streamed for 1 hour at this day. Right, so that was a lot less streaming, and that day I studied for. It just shows 1 hour all the time, but I'm actually studying for more. I think at that time I studied for about 3 hours or something, and that we did about another. Okay, no, I just opened up the same day. Yeah, here I did programming for about, oh my god, no, that's like 2 hours, right? Somewhere about 2 hours. So yeah, it's kind of like improving, right? I think the amount of like the hours in the stream in both of the channels are also increasing, because I want to reach about 4 hours the target. The maximum we could reach is 6 hours, which is a lot, but 4 hours is the main target of ours, right? So if we come back to the topic now, from that reflection, we actually kind of like know the number. So I think I kind of like, when it comes to reading, I read for about 2 to 2.5 to 3 hours, but it just counts as 1 hour because I'm not. It's like it doesn't count if I'm not constantly clicking on the screen, and reading is a kind of passive. You're not always clicking on the screen, right? So whereas in code, you're always typing something, always doing something, which is a good thing. So even if like you're switched, so now it doesn't count, right? So that's kind of a good. In code, that means the analysis it does with the code is accurately accurate. That means my coding hours is not hitting even 2 hours, right? So I think we should hit about 2 to 2.5 hours a day to actually make up for our past mistakes, right? Yeah, so let's go for 1 hour of uninterrupted code, then let's take a break, and after that another 1 hour, and let's take a break, and 1 hour if I can push it through, honestly. Yeah, let's go, baby. Yeah. So if self, first name, last name, self equals age, location, location, religion. So what we're trying, we have already created attributes we kind of have like in common for the instances. Right. Greet user. First name, okay, we have a greeting user for every of the single instance that we create. And then we have a user summary, and then we have like a data storage that stores the data in a for every instance, right? First name, which is equals to this. So what we are actually doing here is like mm-hmm. Yeah, because oh my gosh. Now here's the thing. I finally got connected another thing is that the self or the attributes that you have in a class does not needs to be passed down. They literally don't need to be passed down. And if you have some function that do require um some specific information or arguments, right? Arguments or parameters, you don't necessarily need. Okay, so it's like it passes down there. It's in multiple sections without actually ever needing that. That's actually kind of awesome, if not too awesome. Damn. Yeah, I need to actually improve my speed of learning. Like we generally need to improve. I mean, like I know 4 to 6 hours, like that's about a, if you can actually reach 4 hours, right? Not just 6 hours, that's about 12 hours a week. That is, I think, a lot, right? Because I do code for 3 days, or maybe if I do for 4 days, that's 16 hours a week. So if you just do calculator, open, let's go calculator. So if you like, and there's another thing I need to open up, my noise. So if I go for like 12 hours a week, there's 52, so that's about 600. But if I just got 16 hours a week, that's 52 once again. So we've got 800 hours of code in a year. That is like almost intermediate level. And I hope we can reach 6 hours on some days. So if you take 6 hours into like 4 times a week into like 12, so that means like wait, what happened? 6 into 4, that is 24 into 52, not 12 actually, that's over 1,000 hours, right? So I think we need to hit 5 hours or something, like I think, because like 5 into like 4, which is like this, into we can do by 52. So yeah, we need to hit 5 hours to reach 1,000 plus, like 5 hours of studying code every day, man, and then 3 hours of YouTubing. That is a lot of work. Yeah, so right now I'm talking a lot. Let's get back to stuff. Like, let's get back to some real studying. Mm. Oh, My Noise is really good app that you can use to like listen to the noise in background, which kind of like allows you to be concentrated and be calmed down. So this is like a really good thing you can have. You can have presets too here, like different kind of noise, and then you can actually optimize a preset by yourself. This is a good website for work, because it allows you to concentrate a lot more than you can imagine, right? I mean, why am I hearing it so loud? Yeah, no, I can just increase the level. Yeah, that was too loud. Perfect. Right, perfect. Let's minimize that. Let's get back to work. So we can pass down, and this is what I didn't realize back then, that we can literally pass down. And let me just quickly open up my Obsidian notes, because a lot of stuff that I do is in my Obsidian notes. Take time to load. Yeah, we were on testing the function, but we are currently going through a lot of revision, guys. So we're just gonna continue with the revision. All right, so we have this. So the best part about this is like you could have like self pass down through every function. So every function have access to this, like these attributes right here, which actually solves a lot of problem with this, because now we can change attributes according. We can have if conditions, we can have while loops, or we can have a lot of crazy stuff going on here. Def show for profile and user data. That is religion name. You have user data. This is all data. But this is decoupled from the class though. You have sex, and yeah, you have def while true name equals input. If name is equal, print name is allowed, return name. We are kind of like creating a while loop here to get valid name. If someone is just like throwing around a trash name, get valid age. So what we are trying to do, we are doing try and accept while true. So we are kind of like running a loop that constantly tries, age. But where's the accept? Oh yeah, and if there is an age, like age, if it's an integer, if age is like this, except value or age must be a number, but okay. So if it tries this, right, and if age is like even if like you have money, and if it doesn't get converted into that, it accepts a value r and does that, which is good, and then it kind of like repeats for infinity, so you just can't escape it unless you're done, and return age, right? So you can just keep on continuing. Age unrealistic. Another thing that checks the whether the user is kind of like giving us the valid input or not, because a lot of time users just give whatever the fuck they want. Like this is allows us to know whether the so, and then you have get valid choice prompt valid list. So now you have like a while true value input. Right, so if value not in valid list, okay, okay, where is the valid list, right? So we have religion, location, we have user data, but we never create. Okay, maybe in the okay ahead we have valid list, right? Get valid choice, invalid option. So they took inside if value is not invalid list, but religion name and location name is not a valid list. When did I create a valid list? We have first name get valid name, we have last name get valid name, right? So both of them does the same thing. We have full name. Now we finally got the, if now we've got an import that kind of like loops, and then we have age get valid age, right? And then we have like okay, I think I didn't actually create any prompt here. So if they ask for an age, I would not know, right? What the hell, eh? Yeah, let me just try to put this small kiddo aside. If I run it, guys, if I run it, would you like to register? Yes. Okay, no. What is the register? If register, okay, yes, should be in capital, but I literally do not have the energy for that, buddy. So yeah, let's just do that. Yes, enter the first name Varek, last name Varalian. Age, enter your age, but I never. Enter your fucking age, right? Like yeah, because it doesn't get passed down to like it doesn't get passed through here to here and then here or something, and then it kind of like tries to convert like this into like an integer, and then it kind of like checks. But because we have prompt here, but I think I should have some dignity, not dignity. I mean have some consistency like in my style. So get valid age. Now we have like valid underscore age. Right, so it's now we can just actually shift this by let's say valid underscore age. Right, so if this is not, and this is kind of like continues, right? So like let me just delete that. Let me just read again. Yes, baby. What's your name? My name's Varek Aurelian. Age must be a number. Ah, it sends this shit. It sends this shit. Okay, I get it, but you can stop. Wait, what happens? Aha, wait a second. Put check underscore age. Age. It takes an input. Right. So that valid age passed as an input rather than being passed as integer that's constantly trying to be converted, right? Yeah, and now this valid age goes here and here. Now the new age is equals to integer.age continue, age unrealistic continue. Return age, so now that becomes the age which gets stored later using a dictionary that we do store here. But this never becomes a part of this shit here. Alright, and then this must return a value error. Now I think that should work. Age, let's say 19. Yes, that works, because now what happens, what we did is like rather than having an input, we kind of like directly converted that integer. So now this becomes an input. So this takes the input, convert that into integer, and yeah, blah. So we have this, and if this works out, this. But if it doesn't work out, let's say I would actually expect an age must be a number, and then it would loop back just like we expected, right? Because it only stops when you return age, right? But I think we do not have to break it, because if age is unrealistic, if I like, yeah, I think return also breaks a while loop. I didn't know that. So if I just copy this up, and if I just say, fuck you, what would happen? Would it still loop? Would it still take input time to make a prediction? Enter your first name. My name's Varric, Varelian bitches. Enter your age. My age is, let's say, blah. That is, age must be a number. Okay, sorry, 18. Age must enter your age, enter your age. So the loops keeps on going. Age unrealistic, enter blah, blah, blah. Okay, blah. Age must be a number. So now we have like a, we have this. So if we can then control Z, control Z, control shift Z. Right, so now what happens? As soon as we have return breaks the while loop. Return breaks the while loop. Okay, and now having 9 hours of sleep gives you more energy. I don't know why, and discipline, and makes you feel healthy. And yeah, that's why you should and must sleep 9 hours a day. Especially when you're working 14 hours a day or trying to achieve that kind of work. So now we kind of like solve this problem here because now we understood about what actually return H does, right? So that's kind of an awesome. And we have a okay, there's another data library that I created, and there's another while loop that kind of like tries to, which kind of like incorporate while true inside a while true rather than actually using a function. And this just looks ugly because it's not just ugly. It's like my instincts. My instincts are telling me that. And then we have no way to check the religion, location, and sex if that sex is even true. We have no way to confirm if the inputs that our person is actually giving us is even correct or not, right? So religion, not in religion. But then again, it's not a loop if we don't have a function. So if we had a function that allows us to get all of this and actually incorporate all of that within a function, like, yeah, we can do like here too, but yeah, we are not, we can't, this is like an inferior version and this is like a superior version because you got functions, and now functions, all the like values getting validated, like your name is getting validated, like your choice is getting validated, man. Like, yeah, for example, so we've got all of these three little kits validated here, and then we've got location get valid choice. So if value is not on valid list, and valid list is location name. So we have valid list and we've got a prom. The prom become an info. You take an info, you compare whether the info was equals to valid list, or and so if it's not valid info, and you continue, you repeat. Return value breaks the while loop, baby. Right, same goes for this, and then same goes for the sex. You repeat this same loop again, so now you have a simple function that funnel in three different actually information channel. This is not really that. I'm trying to actually connect random dots in my head. That doesn't make any sense, but GUI user dictionary equals full data storage. So full name data storage. So now we have this. Div data storage summary GUI user. Oh my gosh. And after we've collected all the data, finally, we have a system that actually checks data recursively. Here we have that system. And then we send all of that information to the user class. Damn. So we have first like a manager system that kind of manages the thing. And then we kind of like send all of that, like, and then we cross check. So it's like we take data, we say, okay, whether the data is correct or not. And then we kind of like have classified that this data is correct, and then we send that to a class so that we can actually store it somewhere in a P and start to, okay, so we collect attributes, we check attributes, update those attributes to a class, and yeah, and then add functions so that we can do something important with those attributes. See what I'm saying, how this loop is going on, guys? And I'm speaking so loud, I know, I just know it. I just know it. Like, let me just, yeah, I'm speaking so loud today. I don't know why, guys, but yeah, you get the gist. Full name, we have username, we have full name, we have GUI user, we have dictionary full name data storage, we have user data.append, we have show data, right? So what does show data does? I mean, I think it just shows us show data for user. Okay, but when did anything at all in the entire code appended anything to user data? Ah, full name equals not full name. We have like the valid user. We have a valid user here. So if valid user, we can just replace that with control V, control V. Data storage. But if you have a data storage, it returns this, right? So it returns, and that returns got shoved into user data, right? Is data.append, and then we have like a show data that kind of like shows us the data of user data. But we can have like a we have like a this, and we have like a show data. So what show data does is pretty much show data takes a dictionary, and what it does, it just depends that. But I think I just kind of like fucked myself over. Control Shift Z lets me just still try what will happen. So you would have a user data. The user data would get appended as a dictionary, right? Because but where did you got this dictionary? That's another thing entirely. How do you got the dictionary? Tick, because we stored that tick and then we uploaded that tick here, right? Which got transferred here. And then you must have a tick here, which actually collects that dictionary. And then it appends that dictionary into the user data. And then you have for users and users that kind of like loop through that. Upload data. So we should have like upload data. This is like more like an upload data. Show data? No. This is a function that uploads data. So we could have like not show data. We could have underscore data, right? And we have like not upload data. Now we have another function which is just show underscore data. And now show data doesn't require anything to function because it is just pretty much show data. Right. So user profile, but show data take user data. Return. So we have return 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 user. Okay, why it's in capital user underscore data? So it returns as user data, right? It returns in user data, and then show data takes user data, right? To function. So we have show data. There's no show data now. There's upload. Upload data takes that, returns a list, which is like data in the final form, and then this data gets like show underscore data. This data gets uploaded here, so that show data becomes our user data, right? Or we can just say that like a user data, not show data. We can just call it user. We have user data, right? So we kind of have this user data uploaded. So we have a dictionary, so valid user data storage. We convert that into a dictionary. The dictionary got uploaded into upload data. That upload data, the returns is like a user data, and the user data gets here. Right, so if you finally run the program, there should be no error. Hey, location, okay. I didn't add India as a location. Damn, let's just add Chicago then. Chicago. Enter your religion. I don't have any religion. Oh, I'm an agnostic. Well, let's just add Islam for now. That's definitely male. Name, it shows user profile. Welcome to server, Varric Aurelian. Now it shows us the list. So Varric, first name Varric, last name Aurelian, age Chicago, religion is Islam sex male. Would you like to register? No. So now we improve the system, and system is kind of working. Okay. Now we have human model that we have to. So here I tried to model a human. Oh my gosh, let's just look at this code. I think I need to go and shit. Like, yeah, didn't expect it. The Zyro shit just come out of nowhere, man. I work the best when I have 9 hours of sleep. I mean, in the past, I did used to have 9 hours of sleep, but then again, suddenly I stopped breaking that up because of Ramzan and that kind of like, because I do happen to belong to a Muslim family, but I'm agnostic. But hmm okay, that is a lie. I'm not agnostic. I was agnostic. I'm an atheist. But yeah. But it's better to introduce yourself as agnostic. You can just say, "Oh, I don't know if God." But when you introduce yourself as atheist, you say, "Oh, I believe there is no God," rather than saying, "Oh, I'm not sure whether God exists or not." Like in one side, you are not sure, so the people are like, "Oh, he's not sure. That's all right." But when you say, "Okay, there's no fucking God," and like other side, "What the hell," or something like that. But honestly, who cares? People care about competence. People care about stats. Like, yeah, if you work hard, if you can actually build stuff, if you can actually, they care about the company. They don't give a shit about your background, man. That's what happens in the market, honestly. So you have import random, you have import time, you have class memory def. Cell.events dot append, cell.events, like, yeah. Recall recent. What is it you were doing? Self.events, but I create a class memory and it stores self.events, but how did it def.store self.even.append? Yeah. Why did I create a class? Wait a sec. Class without any attributes? Oh no, we do have attributes. Sorry, here. But we do not. Wait, what? That is an attribute. What the hell? But that's so different way to actually have an attribute, right? So yeah, you have an attribute as a class like this, right? So, but you do not take any of this for some reason, and that doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, so you have events, so you have a depth of so a function that allows you to append events to here to your attributes, and then you have a function that depth of recall event self dot end. This is what it does. So now you have class body. So what this body does, you have hunger, energy, social need, health, something like that, which kind of makes sense, right? And then you have decay, which is like self. So self dot hunger random. So yeah, you have random. I've imported random, right? I've imported time too back then. I don't remember anything about time now. It's been 3 months. Like, yeah, so like self hunger and random dot random, or we have energy and social need. So we're kind of like adding, increasing the social needs, right? And we are kind of like removing the energy, and we're kind of like increasing the hunger, right? Natural biological decay over time, right, guys? And then we have eat, sell the hunger, like, so now this changes sell the hunger, this changes sell that energy. And then we have depth dot sleep, this changes self dot energy. And then we have socialize, this changes socializing needs. We have self dot calm, which kind of keep values within realistic limits, right? Then we have class minds as thoughts. The thoughts get append through this thing. And then we have like a thoughts that append. So we have a function that allows us to. So by the way, this is what I'm realizing just right now is that you have like a function, right? I mean, what because what it's like, it's a function appending to an attribute, not attribute passing down information to a function, right? So it's like it's the other way around too, as you can see, right? And by the way, I ended up buying this mic for 5,000 or something. Like if you can see, right? Do not buy this mic. it's kind of all right. That's all I'll say. It's kind of all right, but that's yeah. not the best one, but yeah, I think you should go for about a one, not a $80 or $90 mic. You should go about $200 mic or something, right? But I did have that money, honestly. So ended up buying this mic, and this is what to record like a video, so I can like plug this here, and I just tested it out, and it wasn't worth the price. Okay, no, it was definitely worth the price because it's far better than what other people have out there. But then again, it wasn't the best. Yeah. And let me just lock my room and go to washroom. It'll just take 1 sec, guys. Just 1 sec. Yeah. I'm back, guys. So yeah, let's get back to job that we were doing, right? So, and then we have like so we append this, so we can also have a class mind, which kind of like appends this into the thoughts, and then we have a lot of stuff, right? So I think I should actually change how I sit here. I shouldn't change it to that. I should change this bad boy to like something like this. How does that look on camera? That looks kind of awesome. Because this gives your backbone a straight edge that you don't have. And I know sustaining this would be harder, and I would like most probably get like this or something. But let's just sustain it. Yeah. Right, so we have like so you have self thoughts. The thoughts get appended into the mind. So we have like an entire class body, we have entire class memory, and then we have entire class mind, and then we have class habit system. Action one. So we have creating a dictionary. So we have like action to securing habits. It's like whatever the action get repeated. Like neurons are wired together. So we're doing that. If action not in self dot habits, action equals one. Else self dot habits in plus it kind of like adds one, right? And not in force to strong. If not in self dot habits, then max dot key equals self dot. I must have used ChatGPT to create this. I do not even remember what this thing is right now here doing. And how do we add habits, right? We have reinforced habits. If not, if action, so we have an action self a habit, right? So we kind of like, yeah, and then we belief equals value, belief dot get belief. So this is like getting us belief, right? But like what kind of belief? And then we've class human, right? So class human inherits body, memory. Class humans has body, has mind, has habit, has belief system. So it doesn't inherit. We are not like inheriting something. You're like, it has the mind. In inheritance, what you do is like you inherit attributes. But when it comes to a system like this, you do not inherit attributes. You just has the entire thing. So you like self dot memory, body, and then you have that memory, you have that, you have mind, you have habit, you have a belief system. So you've got everything in the class human. So it's like states of the hunger, self dot body. So it's like self dot body, and then what body has in itself is like if you go to the top, self dot body, self dot body dot okay. Where is self dot body dot body? Or did I write it wrong? Self dot body dot hunger, right? So hunger equals this. So we have states of the energy this, self of social need this. There's one thing, self.health. Okay, how hunger, energy, and social needs. So we have like this. So we can now actually recall or get to this stuff too. Hunger, and that becomes the self, the hunger, right? So this becomes the self right? So this self, the body becomes a new self that we inherit because self is the instance. So instance often like an instance become an instance for this class. It's like you're passing down. So you create an instance that is associates some attributes. Right. But that attribute that it was associated with was a class. So it gets funnels into all the way to the class. So it's something like I cannot draw it, but I can if I really tried my best to like draw it, it would be like a something that goes here to here to here to here. If I have like a draw, like a something sketchpad, like yeah. So if you have a draw, and if I had like yeah, this is actually really fast. So if you can I change the background? Background looks really bad. Star crop resite select text. Right. Now this background doesn't look bad. So if you have an instance, you create an instance which has certain sort of attributes to it. Right. So you have attribute, but it's like if you look at one class, this is a class, and these class has attributes and methods which are kind of like functions attached to these attributes. Right. But I mean, this is a class called human. But when these attributes are there, any instance of the class inherits like or has these attributes by themselves. So these attribute becomes to the instances that you have, right? But what happens with when there's like when the attribute in itself is in another class, right? So you have attributes that get to like what you're pretty much saying is like not inheritance, but like this instance has access to this and this class here, right? If I were to zoom in, okay, that's just way too much. Control Z, Control Z. Yeah. How do I actually make it move, man? It's kind of a trash, honestly. Yeah, this is like I do not have left any option, guys. But this drawing is kind of way better than Excalibur's drawing, right? But I think Control Shift Z Control. I think this right here is way trash. So what we can do is actually we can have another setup going on our Obsidian notes right here. So if I were to show this shit to you, and if I were to just cross this, and if I were to just go there and first of all, let's zoom this out, and then I go to settings, and then I go to community plugins. If I go to browse, and I go to X Kali Draw, right? And if I install this, yeah, so I think it should take a couple of seconds before it get destroyed. Not destroyed, I mean installed. Right, so we have Xcali Draw. We have like, yeah, let's go to settings. I think it does majority of its things by itself. So we have a folder. We shouldn't be a folder. Here it is, Xcali Draw, right? And when you add on anything, so if you let's say start drawing, right, and let's say we close it up, we go with, oh yeah, it's already created its own folder. We can delete this. We can delete this, right? And then we just have to tap this, and then we just have to rename simple explanation. Right, that is the new name, and then we can go like okay, and then we have frame tool less association, and then we have like a stroke background. Okay, so now we have a background option, and I just need this one. Yeah, dark mode, right? Preferences. Oh, dark light. This one's is actually good too, but not my type. No, this one works better, right? Also, if you have to draw, we have like a 7 here, so we have 7, and that just allows us to draw, right? And we can always change the stroke sizes, right? And then we have layers. So I can just go with the 7, and could you please shut up? So we have, this is just too much, so we can just go here, we can just go here, we can just do this. All right, so as I was explaining in the Chrome or in the web, and I'm gonna explain the same thing, it's like you have like a one class here, which is your class, okay? You have this thing, which is your class. For some reason, I want perfection, right? I don't know why, but okay. So this is your class, right? And a class controls that. This is like the class that we have has attributes, and those attributes are have a lot of property in themselves. So it's like those attributes. Now, why it's filling itself? So these attributes have values, right? And if those values just happen to be another classes, right? So we have another classes of those values, right? So we have like, yeah, so we have multiple attributes. Those multiple attributes happen to be associated with class. So if, let's say, when you create an instance, if you pass the value to this instance, to this I, right? Let's say you pass a net value to this I, sorry, to this A, right? You just pass the value to this A. This A passes the value, like all of these values that you pass is to these directly. It goes to these like classes, right? So and then again, like if you like if I say like a self, okay, s dot like body. Let's say this class is body, okay? This class is body, and if you pass that, so it's like s dot body, right? Or sorry, this attribute is called body. Like this attribute is called body. Right. So it's like self.body, you access the attribute and then you add again like a dot, and then you need to access like the like, yeah, so this attribute is associated with the instance value you just provided, so you access that to the self.body, and then you want to access this one. So what you kind of do is like you self.body dot, let's say there's another body here, or let's say there's a body pod, which is p, like you've created a subpod, so you kind of like have p here, right? So you have like a like a P. So it's like, this is how you're accessing it, and you can access this too, and you can access this too. And the best part is like you can go like this, and this is just a simple way you can access a variety of different classes that are associated with some classes, so you can directly pass them there. And that means if you can directly pass them there, that means there's some class and there's some activity. So now we have methods, right? So we have methods that are applied on this, so we can access multiple methods. Let's say one method like checks the which part, like if the pod is active or alive. So that it checks alive, it checks like if the body pad is damaged, it checks like if the body pad needs to recover, right? So from a basic instance, you are able to actually access all that kind of stuff. This is what I'm saying, right? It's like you have this instance, as soon as it was created in its lifetime, it already has a class that has subclasses which are part of it, and those subclasses are also like managing some attributes. So you like keep on consistently passing down the information to the bottom layer where the methods are actually happening to actually assist what's, and change those variables to change the entire conditions of this class right here. So it's like how subclasses are influencing the class that is the part of them, right? Something like that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So now if you just close this bad boy down, right, let's just close this bad boy down. So this is what was happening here, if you were to say. Like self of body was influencing the self of mind, and now we have hunger, energy, and social need. What they pretty much does is that they access this thing right here, and kind of like allows us to access the attributes that we have in body. Right. So we have received. So yeah. Now we have like decision, self dot, left dot. So what this does is self dot perceive. Okay. Okay, perceive, or this is like the states we have observed, the initial state, which if self-perceived does nothing, it just kind of like adds, like try to find out the values in the body, the initial values in that sense, with that. Those get passed down as state. And return state. So if energy is it now return sleep. So now what happens? We have sleep, and then this is eat, return socialize. So now we are actually interacting with the class body here. Like this is the entire interaction with we take the body, we access the variables, sorry, attributes in the body, we save those attributes as state, then we actually assess those attributes, we save those attributes in a dictionary, we assess those attributes using that, and then we return a couple of things like what to do under those specific conditions. And since the body already has those functions, what it does, if self.habit.strongest habit, return habit. Now we are habit, but how did we access all the habits? We had the habit system. Dot strongest habit was a function that we accessed directly. So what does habits does is like it's habit, if habit and random, return habit, think and return random dot choice. Okay, I don't know what this part is doing in the entirety of the system of the code. All right, def dot action. Now you have action E, and it returns socialize. So if it returns socialize, mm-hmm. Would it get passed down somewhere because it returns socialize? Would it get passed down somewhere? It returns that, so it's not associated with any action, right? If action equals eat, then that are we okay? We cannot directly pass this information here to this information, right? I mean, like we can actually transfer the function itself that we've created above to access here, but we cannot transfer sleep. I think we can also pass attributes that we have created at the top, so it's not that big of a deal, but we can't. Equals sleep, right? Body dot sleep, memory dot self dot memory dot store slept. So you have store, and then you have action. If action socialize, so self dot body. So we have self dot body dot socialize, which is a part, and then we have store, talk with someone. Action, so it's like if action equals think, then random choice. What is like, yeah, so if you have like a free energy, right? Self dot mind dot think, thought plus thought, right? So we have done that. Self dot action explorer. So we have also memory reinforce action def dot update. So we have self dot body dot decay, self dot body dot class. So this is constantly causing the variables to be out of bound, right? And then we have action self dot decide. And now, okay, self.update is where everything is helping because now you decide what to do because decay has already happened because you perceive. So this is just like initial checking for us to actually activate. So now this.update is doing the heavy lifting here. So you decide, and then you have, because these have already actually does something to your nervous system and actually decaying and clapping. So you decide and you try to keep effective variables within bounds. That is a very simple way of saying, like, and then we have self.action. So now you took an action and it's like, yeah, this is like, you have like action, self the body to energy, self the body to energy, so now you're constantly updating them after what happens decay. You decide to take action, self the decide gives an action, and then you get an act, so now self that act, right? You activate this thing. Now you create a simulation, so human.act, you act, and that kind of like updates the entire thing. And the loop should go on again and again. So now in order to make, yeah, human, you create a human, you pass down information called agent. I don't know why did you pass that down as a self. Like, yeah, you can pass them down as a self because there's nothing that actually takes more information as a self. That is, and then for step and range, you run the simulation 20 times. You'll say print as one human dot update. As soon as you say update, time sleep is like 0. So now this is like what actually happens in a day, and that goes back to the top because this must happen update. So it's even start update kind of like causing to create a cascade of actions as soon as you've created an instance, like, yeah. And this is like, so at the end, all you just do, because like there's multiple left, so all you just do is like run simulation at the end. You do not even create a while loop where you're managing all of this stuff. You just create like a run simulation. Today I need to actually apply the shampoo. You have step one. A cascade of actions are happening. So you have like action think, energy theta, action think, action explore, action think, action socialize, action eat, action explore, think, explore, sleep. So this is like the step 20. At the 20, it runs. Wait, what? It just runs 19 times because like we have 20 here. I think we need to run it. Okay, 21 times to get 20. But I think majority of the time it does nothing but explore and things. And it's showing Islam. Ah. Brain is a glucose vacuum. So if you are living in a condition where food and socializing and different stuff like that is constantly available, you know, and you can get access to all the things. Then something weird happens, and that weird is like you'll majority see the majority of the thing like the organism is gonna do most of the time is think and explore. Not because it loves that, but because that is the most easiest accessible thing in its environment. Not environment. I mean, it's like because it has surplus energy to think and think take consumes. I think I should actually make sure that thinking itself takes energy, right? Rather than using decay. All of this is so beautiful, right? Now we have class restaurant. Which is like the improved version of my uh restaurant. Then we have class organism, self dot state, temperature, self dot limit, current state, self dot limit. Okay. So it's like a simple version of cybernetic loop. Import random, cold effect temperature, like yeah, generate disturbances. And remember, this is what I built last time, the cybernetic encode. This is a very simplified version of that. Regulator outstay, like yeah, you have a regulator, you have apply action, and then you have like the organism, but you do not have memory until like I append a memory here too in cybernetics co. Right. Here we do not have a memory, right? So that's another thing. And then we have like where were we at 23? Let's go for 24. We have help modules. Yeah, let's run that. We have a lot of modules going on in Python. We have a lot of modules in Python. I think I need some food now. Random total types typing. Oh my gosh, we have so many zips up. I don't even know what some of these even means. There has to be math, right? A, B, C. M, numpy, module maths. There has to be some math. Yep, math is also there. Mailbox, limited login. There's so many different kind of modules, man. Right, so we have also like module.py and then these is dice model, import random. We have title, self.side roll. So we have a dice, and every dice in the universe has like some random sides, right? And while true dice has 6 sides, okay, so we're trying to model all the dice in the universe. So what they have common is like they have common sides. So that's what becomes our attributes. And here we are playing with the solve data. Huh. Okay. Huh. This is the outcome. I see. Pull and match. What is that? It has to be something. But I think have we ever done revision enough reading a file? Okay. With open txt as file object contain file read. This reads the file. Okay, this is actually important. As and it's like it's required. This was the like concept I was experimenting with. Mm-hmm. Like I think we had a module.py which does nothing. We're creating multiple modules. I think we were importing. I think before module.py, some version what it was doing. Restaurant.py. I mean, there has to be like a one file where I actually like try to model a lot of stuff related to I don't know what pull and match doing, but we're gonna have to look at this code too. But and then we have this code too, and then we have runaway loops, right? So system, that's our system, and let's see how this is a runaway loop. We have data in data, so okay. This is another thing we have to storing data. Okay. Try and accept. I think we have pretty good already got a good idea of it, but we're still gonna read character reader. Yes. We have addition.py. What does addition.py is about? Coding termination. Okay, it's again that's about that. We have how do you add information taking from one file to another. Then we have user login. Then we have function load.json user login.py. I think we already are at the from load functions import user append data. Okay, where is load function? Most probably deleted. Most probably doesn't even exist. Right. Who cares? Honestly. Right. So we got about I don't know like about a lot of files to visit. Right. And after that we would have almost yeah we have JSON files too, right? Which load.json.py. So hey, what? I thought this was okay. Data on user. This is the JSON file that contains data, right? Right. Mm-hmm. Load JSON, so it's like infect check data, user data.json, open user data as us user data.json.lower except file error, none else return username. So if you file not found error, so we are pretty much expecting, and if there's no file not found error, return username. Right, and then in user append data, so like these are two functions. So I think this is like required in user login.py, right? I mean, we can have this in yeah, we look at it later. I'll look at this file later, but I think right now I need to go downstairs, eat my breakfast, do some like pee once again, and then I'll be coming out. I don't know why. I'm speaking for 1 hour. I'm thirsty as fuck. But before going downstairs, let's just call my mom to check if she has created some breakfast. She's not picking up the call at all. The number you have dialed is currently. Yeah, she's not picking up the call. We have break. Okay, maybe her phone is. I don't know. Well, let me just give her a shot again. If it doesn't work out, I just need to go downstairs to check real quick if she's, you know, busy or what. Mm-hmm. I'll be back real quick, guys. I think I do need to go downstairs to check what's going on. And yeah, it's time to get back to work again, I suppose. Yeah. So, guys, I'm back. I shouldn't have shown that to stream, but okay, guys, I'm kind of back. Okay, from the breakfast, and now we're gonna go till 12:50. So that's about 10 to 11, 11 to 12. That's about 3 hours almost, I suppose. Right. So let's code that long. Yeah, and maybe after our lunch, I can get back to code again. Yesterday, I did 2 streams. Right. But even then, my total learning hours weren't that high. So yeah. So now we have data, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we have A, B, C, D, E. Def winning value data. Winning value is equal to something for at the range x equal to etc. So data winning value dot append. Okay, I think in streams when you're speaking, it's get harder to concentrate on what you're studying because you're speaking a lot of times, huh? Transfer the data to this shit. Ah, it's some random from this thing here. The value data. Ah, so what we're trying to do, we're trying to create a lottery system here. Pull and match. It kind of like what it does, it creates a winning value by constantly taking a random number from like any four or numbers, like from the data itself. And what it kind of like tries to do, it creates a winning value. So it's like any random 4 number picked from this becomes the winning value. And then there's a value you get. So what happens here is like you have final values. So final value is like this plus map distinction plus values. This you join the entire value. And then you have random value, which got joined. And if a random value equals return true, as soon as it returns true, I mean check value data, we pass down the data, check the final value dot value. So it's like takes value and final value. Final value equals winning value data. So we already got this, the final value at the start. We do not need to repeat this final value. If count, total count 0, win 0, mean equals it now. Right, so we have like a checker. So this takes final value and the value that we have to check. And the total count equals 1 plus. So each time a count like checks, this increase the total count. Right, and then you have if check equals true. So if the check returns true, right? Then what it does, it's like print f value is the winning lottery. Is the winning lottery. This value, if that's true, this value is the winning lottery. Print the total number of attempts it announced, it takes that and takes the count. But what is total count? We add the total count, but what is adding count? Mean dot append count. But how do we even got a count? Mean dot append count. Ah, it appends the total count. So the count. But I think total number of attempts should have total counts because we are constantly adding. So if value check equals value, and then we're like winning probability, we have a function. When total count of how many times that process happened. If win is 100 or less, if win is 0, we keep on repeating this loop. it keeps on iterating. Each time it keeps on iterating the value. Well, I think this is a better system because this system is broken. Like for real. So now we create a new system. We have string dot random choice data for range. So we can like generate sequence. Count plus 1, 2. Yeah, because the system doesn't keep track of counts. So that's the problem. So we can have like a total count here. I can improve this whole system without actually creating a new one. If we add total count here, now the total count gets appended. And we add total count and mean. mean. And what is count? There's no need for a count, like literally. We just need, yeah, there's no need for that. We just need a when to finally final value equals winning value data. Now what is this doing here? It generates a new final value. Right. I did have else count plus 1, but then again, each time the iteration happen, it does track the count, total count plus 1. Right. So why do I would need that? The total count is how many times the loop run, and this count is like how many chances does it took for you to succeed the game. I got it. I was iterating my own content for no absolutely reason. Yeah. I see why count was there. So if it doesn't, we have counts. The count is 0. 0 prints mean. So counts resets after, but this loop hardly runs. So, you know, because this now it chooses count plus 1, continue count plus 1, continue count plus 1, continue. And once it add that, it kind of like appends that to the mean and it resets the count. And then there's total count too, which is like how many times does it loop run, right? And the winning chance probability is total count by win. This is the chance of winning lottery. So what is winning probability is like total count by win or win by total count into 100, right? And win chance, right? So this is like that chance. So this is it not break? I mean, I created a good. Actually, yeah, this works perfectly. I thought there was something wrong in the code, but there is nothing wrong in the code. Genuinely, damn. Why is that? For some reason, that key wasn't working. Control Z. I thought Control Shift Z. Damn, I do not want my keys to not work, you know. Nothing runs because nothing is inactive. Okay, so it produces a win. The number of attempts is the winning lottery. The number of appends, the number of attempts. So each time it kind of like generates the number of attempts. Is it just running for infinity? So it's just run that's for infinity. And the chances of winning a lottery is this. So how many times does it run? It runs it 99 times. And each time the mean keeps on getting bigger, right? Because it's like, yeah, these were all the amount of like, you know, winning so winning value, probably win and total count. So total count by winning chance is like 99 by total count. How many times the loop ran? So total count is the sum of all the counts, right? So what is the mean of this, right? Like there is the mean. It's just that there's no mean. We shouldn't call this mean. We should call this chances. takes to win. Right, something like this. And then we can have like count chances takes to win. And yeah, something like that. So now that's kind of like a very odd way. Chances. Now this keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I have a lot of number and the machine is doing its job. I think after some time it should stop. It's like the chance of 1.0 so it's like, you know, it's 0.00, it's like 0.0017. Last time it was 0.0021 or something. Maybe we should get an average if we just run it enough time, right? You know, I think the more the set of data that we use, the accurate it would get, right? If we really want the, so now it should 0.19, right? So now how about I don't know. This may be plain stupidity, but it gets 100 in a couple of secs, so I think it should get 1,000 in a couple of minutes, right? We are already a couple like 100, but then this would reach 1,000, right? So I mean, the larger the data set that we use, the more accurate the probability we will get for the winning. But we do know the probability is 0.00 like 2 or something like that. That is the average of like all the probability that we got. So we can create an average of all the probability we got, something like that. So we can like run this 1,000 times, and then we create like the mean of all the probability that we got. Like what is the, and then for accuracy we would know, or not accuracy, for really high accuracy we would know like yeah, like I think 100 10,000 was just too much. I mean, we could run this even for 100,000. It will take a couple of days, right? Because like if you look at it, it's like, damn, the computer is doing its job. The winning. I think one of the hard time it's having is printing, like printing the mean, like we have here. I think that is kind of like wasting a lot of compute, right? This simple thing right here is just wasting a lot of time for us, because each time the loop wins, each time it has to like print the fucking shit. Right, let's just fucking kick it out. I mean, we can print all of that in the end. It just repeats the same thing again and again, if you see. Now we don't have to work with that. See? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We reduced all of that compute just by removing a print line. Right, and I can actually control Z, and we can print we can control C. We can print that all of that in the end, guys. I mean, like at the end when everything has happened. That's all. So now it's gonna run for, and when it's gonna run for a 1,000 times, and then we'll have the, I don't know how many times it has already run, but more than a couple hundred times. Like definitely more than a couple hundred times, trust me. Like 10 every second. They're like, okay, they're like 10 every few seconds. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like every 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 10. So it's like about I don't know. Damn, it feels satisfying that it goes like this. Ah, I forgot to share my screen all this time. So this is what we were doing. It's all right. No one's watching anyway. So we got this. I think this is like wasting time at this point. We're just wasting time. Okay, let's just do something else while we. This is another way how we created. Right, so it's like generate string don't run, attempt, and then trying to match them up. So yeah. And now this is like reading a file. So reading a file is really awesome. Oh, it still doesn't happen 10,000 times. I think we already must have gone to 1,000. Yeah, but it's 10,000. It's not 1,000. I think 1,000 would have been done by now. Like, yeah. Which is all right, because if this system runs long enough, you would get the winning probability really awesome, right? So let's keep it running in the background, and we would like have final for accuracy, like what is the winning probability. So it's like open with open pi digit. Oh, I did have txt file which has like yeah, which has this. So the first terminal is still working in the background, which is awesome, and then we can run this on here. Right, so we can work with this terminal. So we have like with million digits of pi as file object, read and print content. So is it gonna print a million digits of pi? Oh my gosh. Let's just unselect this shit here. And let's just unselect the shit here. Right. So I mean a lot of shit is still, but like you know, it opens. And this notes.pe.chapter0 hello-world.py. I still don't know my projects, the notes PPE. If this is still, I think, yeah, I mean, I still in my Pi projects. If it's like the folder, the notes is still here, and PCC3 main is gonna be still there, and the chapters is gonna be still there. Right. Read and print, like, yeah, and like, yeah, so we are opening as files. We'd open this as file, and still running. Opening this as file, and then can print the base print. So we kind of like yeah, with open file name as objects, file name as file objects. Right, line. Okay, and there's another way. It's like you can take the file name and then kind of like get it as file object, and then yeah, rather than actually providing the location for it, right here we kind of like provide the location. So if I run it here, if I run this file here, I cannot run this file here. What the hell? Well, it's all right. I just need to read the file though. But shall I stop the terminal at this point? Right? Like, should I really stop it? I mean, I bet it's more than a couple thousand already. Like, look at how fast it's going up. So it's like, it's still generating for 10,000. Oh my gosh, maybe 1,000 was more than enough. Maybe I'm underestimating how big 10,000 was. Or did I actually add 100,000? It's 1/10, 1/10. Okay. It's 1/10, 100,000, 10,000. It's just 10,000, man. Why it's taking so much time? I get it. It takes about a couple of seconds for the 100 to happen. That means it takes about a minute for one. So I think it would take about 10 minutes for the entirety of the thing to happen. And 10 minutes is a lot. I see. Like, yeah, fucking a lot. Print n, so for lines in lines, print l.rshrep. Right. So we have pi string value this. For lines on lines, how the data of multiple lines can be compressed into one. Strip left and right side of the blank area. Pi string for line and line. Read lines. So we have what is read lines here? With open file name as file objects, line equals file object or read lines. Print it's now for lines and lines, print line dot strip. Where does it go from file name? Open file name. We got this file name. Lines and lines. We got our strip. Print Ithana for lines and lines plus r strip. We append that to pi string length of pi string. Okay. File name pi main.txt with open file as file objects, line file objects, the red lines. Is it still fucking? Can you fucking stop? I think I should just delete it at this point. I mean, it's like, okay, it's sunk cost fallacy. Since I've been invested on this for about a lot of time, I'm still investing or being invested in it for a lot of time. Oh man, I don't know what to do. Should I just close this up? Like, why am I even trying to calculate a probability I don't give a shit about? I mean, like, literally. I mean, is it even lagging my laptop? Is it heating up? No, it's not heating it up, but still, you know. I think I'm really, really close to like the really, really close to what they call it success here, because I think in just a couple of minutes it's gonna be like work like best, because I think it's gonna be get done in a couple of minutes. How much time does it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it takes about a couple seconds. Like each second. If we just say one every second, right? Because it is one every second, one output every second. That means we need 10,000 output. So if you can multiply, like have that 10,000. If I just open up my calculator on phone, actually, why am I opening up it on phone? I have a laptop right in front of me. So if we have a basic calculator, and if you have one like 10,000 def by since 60, because everything's happening, so that's 16. Oh my gosh, that's 16 minutes. 16 minutes. That's why I felt like a lot, because it's have been running since the last 16 minutes. Fuck it, who cares? To show me the show, okay, and then we have file million, we have as lines as line object, read lines generates the list. What does read lines does? On live text, you must type txt after a text file. Yes. Open the file path as file object read, and then it got read. If live and on live, then yeah. But I think it doesn't have JSON. Right. File if update file equals file replaced, honored and strongest, we have like stay. So we have like file, and in that file we are replacing certain words with certain characteristics, and then we have updated for this. This wasn't saved in memory. Oh, initial data is being replaced. There is no memory of what happened. Ah, so initial data in itself get replaced, huh? File path programming.txt. Do I have that anywhere in my PDFs and txt files? Well, I did have programming.txt. So what it does with the programming open file with a W, so it writes, look at the audacity. I love creating new games and file open, like, yeah, right. I also love finding meaning in large data sets. I love creating apps that can run in browser, right? So we have like a file.path, and yeah, we open as append rather than as write. The info object, right? I think I should create a message. I should create a bot that actually sees when this is done and tells me this is done. It's still running for it will run for the 16 minutes, man. Yeah. So we've got that. We've got runaway loops here. So we've got self class system def initiate, and then we have solved that energy. We have solved our coherence. We have solved our entropy. If solved our coherence is smaller than 30, low coherence creates more entropy. Plus 5, maintaining auto cost energy. If energy is it now creates more entropy. If it now boundary self dot entropy self. We are pushing the boundaries because it's just better to just sleep, because like you're trying to do this stuff like that. So self dot boundary max self dot coherence max self dot coherence equals it's enough. So it's like each time energy, but it's like you will start up whatever the place you start up. It's mind equals systems bar. Okay, mind equals the day in range, day mind dot update, mind dot display. So the thing is, there's nothing that actually improves the entropy. Each time in each iteration, entropy is like increasing, and it's a runaway loop. Because if entropy is keeping on increasing and there is nothing balancing the entropy, it kind of like runs, keep on running away. Just like Danella says, it just never stops, right? I just want to read what Danella was saying in that book, but yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Then we have data and data. It fucking hasn't stopped, man. Maybe I should like, yeah, fuck it. Like literally fuck it. I do not have time for shit like that. Like really, guys. Yeah, I do not have time for shit like that. So I think there's an error. I think that would have happened, like, that would have ended in just about a couple of seconds. Who knows? Because I never started a timer of 16 minutes, so I never knew how long it will last or something. So yeah, maybe the entirety of the time has already happened, and I didn't knew, and it was just about a 1 second or 1 minute away. And that's what sunk, like, sunk fallacy is that you keep on thinking that it's just gonna be there and just be there and just be there, and it's just never there until it's already too late to go back. And even if it's too late to go back, I've been back. Fuck yeah. All right, so we have this, and this like 10,000 doesn't make sense, man. Like, yeah, just save it. Right. So we have like a data set of 10. That's what goes on. If I added have a, let's say if I had a data set of let's say 100,000, right? How much time that would take? So we would just have like a 0, 0, 0, 0, 1,000, 100,000. And if you div that by 60, that would take about 116. And if you div by that by 60 again, that would take about 27 hours. Oh my gosh. That would take 27 hours, man. Are you shitting me? That's a lot of hours. It's like you have to keep on running the system for an entire day to get your answer. Like, yeah. Now, why like Visual Studio Codes always have just updates going on that just never stops. Like, let's just run this runaway loop for a sec, though. Okay, it creates a new terminal. So it starts with always 98 energy coherence. Energy becomes 96. 94 coherence become 42. 92, 42, 90, 40, 30, 88, 38, 80, 86, 84, 82, 80, 78, 76, 70, 72, 70, 80, 66, 64, 62, 60. Like, yeah, so energy, like a coherence becomes 0. If you look at coherence and how it's 48, it's decreasing by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. But when we reach 28, it becomes 25 rather than decreasing by 2. It never remains 20. When it's 25, it just becomes 22, then it becomes 19, then it becomes 15, then it becomes 10, then it becomes 5, then it becomes 0. So here, runaway loop starts to like, yeah, runaway loops like starts to become like, yeah, the major part, right? Yeah, it's a small thing that I created, I guess. I just run this file though. Pi.million is a file object, file not found error. Pi.million.txt, this is just literally p, like, it's just fucking, like, here, what are you saying? As a file object, I mean, trace back line 1 and module open py.txt as a file object, and here you have pi digit.txt. What the fuck are you saying, buddy? And it's the same, like, I know. No. The problem is that it should be the same in this, like, it should be in my folder rather than out of the my folder. So I can just append it somewhere, not here, somewhere here. Move. As soon as you move, the PDF is still outside the folder. Learning 2, cybernetics, yeah. Yeah, you have txt file data. So the car, you have txt file. Now I would run like a charm. File not found error. No such file or directly pi digits.txt. Fuck you. Okay, wait a sec. How is it not finding it? I mean, it's just literally there, buddy. Let me just do another thing for you. If you do not find it, then just commit suicide. I have like a digit, and it's like a 27 rating a file. So if like it's in the same folder, I think you should find it by now. You're not finding it. You're just not finding it. My laptop just failed because of you bitches. Okay, it's just not finding it. Why is it not finding the file though? Oh, data.txt. It's not pi.million.txt. Move. And data.txt, as for you, buddy. You should go back. Buddy, you should really go back. You should know that in this universe. No one cares for you. That you must be abandoned or fuck Pymalion.txt. I did got it. It's the same name, Pymalion.txt. .txt? Wait a sec. Does it like? Oh, you're shitting me. Control Z. You're shitting me. If this works, you're shitting me. Of course, this doesn't work. Okay, it's in the same. Now there's only one person in this universe that can help us. It's like okay, and you guys knows it. Not you. So you can see I've opened up this file which is called reading a file.py, and the first line, if you can see, it says with open, like, and then in bracket it's like pydigit.txt as a file object, and then I have like you can see like in my project in the one.learning we have like this pydigit.txt in the same folder where the like reading a file.py, like 27.reading a file.py exists. Still, it's not able to read that file. Why do you think that is happening? We have sent it, or we are sending it, I suppose, baby. It's gonna do its job, and then it's gonna give us an output. Yeah. Mm. File name is fine. Your script uses it now, which is the same folder as it. That this is likely with Python being run from a revel path by .txt is resolved related to current fucking, not necessarily. Ah, are you saying? TXT. Now let me just try to run this file on the terminal. It still shows this stupid ass error. File number. Or use a path wait on script on location. How about what path library? Path basic. Mm-hmm. But it worked in the past. Are you shitting me? Let's just say. I don't care. Just run it. File not found error again and again, again and again. Try to fix this error and tell me how you fixed it. And where was my library even looking at, or like where was the Python, was like, at what kind of location or folder it was looking at. Ah, so it was not working in the if my projects were working. Ah, here. Okay, so if I Ah, I see. So it was looking in the at the folder rather than within the folder. Thank you. I love you. That's why AI related learning works efficiently. It literally told me what happened, and it literally told me how I fixed it. It uses something called pathlib, import path, current folder path, like file parent, and like Python builds the path from location 27 or reading the p reading a file.py. Launches the script form. Okay, what is this path lib? Like, okay, what is this like from pathlib import path, like, and current folder path live dot parent? I mean, what is pathlib, Like, is it a library? Like, what is it? And how did you actually did what you did? I don't get it. I mean, because this kind of concept is new to me. I mean, because like, yeah, and as thank you for telling me that Python was looking in the folder like Python work. I get that. But how did you fix the error? And what is this thing that you use to fix the error? I do not know anything about it. Could you explain the concept to me? And also create a file in 3.learning underscore 2, create another file which like actually demonstrate the entire meaning of like, or you know, like, yeah, explain it to me on the chat too, but while simultaneously also create a file, right? You know, you can create a Python file or something, and in that like use pathlib, you know, and give an explanation about it, and it should be detailed and beginner level, because I am a beginner at Python, so make sure you do that. Yeah, so now what it's gonna do is like, it's gonna take this, and I do not get it, so now it's gonna create a file at my $3 library, and it's gonna help me understand all this stuff. This is how you use a fucking AI to actually understand the concept that you don't get. You do not go to the book, you do not go to the Google, you do not go anywhere. You use the AI itself to fucking help you. I create a small beginner affecting demo file in my... Okay. It doesn't show here though. Right, it doesn't, it literally doesn't. That prints the important path values and read, okay, it's pathlib explanation.py. Sample using, first time checking the folder structure, so I find it in the right place. Right, I'm going to add one Python 5 pathlib in on its own. I will also create slash read a tiny text file so you can see the same idea working without relying on VS Code launch folder. The demo file in this place. Do you want a law Python demo script to create a pathlib text inside? I created a beginner demo file, so it's like it's thinking. The demo file is in place. D now because it proves the path logic even when printed the path file is created the sandbox. It also created a simple text which I ran. Pathlib simple text, okay. What pathlib is? You can actually get that from input pathlib. Pathlib is a built-in Python library. Built-in means you do not need to install it with pip. It gives you a path class which helps you work with files and folders. Ah, it gives a path. It gives us a class. Oh my gosh. File names, this path of this Python file. If the python id.learning.python explanation.py represents that full path, this file. Hey, that means when I was actually playing with you know, it didn't did that what I was expecting it to do, right? So I can open them later up, but it's like it's getting cluttered. Represent the full file path, this file. So parents means the folder. Yeah, and it does that. It has a dot parent. Ah, current folder equals this. So this is like the this folder and project folder, current folder dot parent. So what does dot parents does? Is that a the path tool? Useful because it lets Python understand file and folder location in a clean way. This means there's two important files. Files means the reading of file.py then. Full file path. right, the folder that contains this file. Script lives. Okay, dot parent is the folder. Parent is this. Joins path. This does not mean division here. Build path in a clean path live sample.txt. Parent. So the parent is okay. So the parent is okay. So the parent is like 3.learning.2, but back then the parent was 1.learning, right? So that is like the. There we go. And then we can use this parent to redirect the. Yeah, fuck, AI is just taking over the world, and I'm using AI to learn coding. But then again, man, is it really worth it to learn every nook and cranny? Isn't it just better to just go with the biggest stuff, like what, like But you need to understand all this to understand what's going wrong with the file, man. Right? Or do you not need it at all? Do you just need the basic APIs and how APIs connect to dictionaries and stuff like that? Oh my gosh. I do not know, but I do think that I need some structure. This path file allows how Python is reading, how multiple files are appended. So it kind of like builds the structure and understanding of the entire thing, I suppose. Oh man, I kind of like feel this fear inside my heart that maybe what I'm doing is just useless. Right? Because maybe if the AI is taking over, then, but yeah, the AI is a limit to AI and you should be directing rather than being directed by the AI. Aha. Current folders is this file parent. I'm anxious now. Pathlib sample.txt. Maybe I should change my way to actually learn code. How do YouTubers like? I did try to ask ChatGPT and it give me basic advice, but how do I code in 2026? This is the reason why they're designed to hook you over. Like all of these, like all of these videos, like they're designed to kind of like gain your traction, and they do not give any asymmetric insight onto actually how to do the things. They just give you like very basic advice. ChatGPT, how do someone learn to code in 2020? I mean, in 2026, because like I've started coding and I'm like going through the basic route, getting to understand all the basic structures and stuff like that. I mean, so I have my VS Code here, and like if I were to move it to another tab, I kind of like use the AI to actually explain some of the concept that I'm not getting and introduce me to new concepts. And I read a book like Python Crash Course by Eric Matthew, right? Or Mathis, I don't exactly know his name, but yeah, the Python Crash Course, it's kind of famous, and I use that book to understand like the concept and how the things are going on, and the structure, right? And there's a lot of complexity to all of this. Honestly, there's a lot of complexity. And what I do want you to do is like help me, like how do someone learns coding in 2026 in a way that is actually advantageous, gives insane amount of leverage, allows you to understand concepts faster, and is it even worth the learning, like from scratch? I mean, like, and what do you even learn? Because I think it's like, the what do you just learn the major concept? Is because the minor concept would be like done by the AI, right? So you just get the classes, the dictionaries, the APIs, the juicy stuff, the most important stuff. As for the smaller stuff, like currently I was learning I was currently learning what it's called, pathlib, right? Like from pathlib import path, right? Like, this is kind of like a library we have in Python, and I was like understanding how like path, like parent file, and how do you access like create a path for the Python to actually read, right? Using pathlib and stuff like that, right? But then I realized it kind of like there's a lot of efficient things to learn rather than learning this, right? I mean, like I can learn how to open up files and different stuff like that. But I think what I do need to know is like how files are interacting, rather than knowing how to open them up, because then AI can just do that very efficiently for me. Like I don't know what to learn, and how to learn, and how to gain ever leverage and understanding of the concept insanely fast, and like yeah. Some people are saying lock in, some people are saying it's not gonna go anywhere. Level 2 computational thinking, how information, how system, how data transfer, how break leverage AI has dramatically reduced the value of level 1. Clear royal file opening function mattered. In 20, opened the JSON file and praise it. And second, the scarce resource is no longer just knowing what should exist. Yeah, I get that. But then again, you do have to start from the basics, right? I'm getting scared. I mean, because this is the only way you can build an online business from scratch is to code. Because you cannot hire a team, and this is the similar. AI is the brick layer, you are the architecture layer, data, learn variables, dictionary data, setup tables, ask what information about everything is data, users, video, money, all data. Flow, if statement, loops, function, how does information move? This is circulatory systems, object learned classes. You'll use like yeah, because now most now you use the concept files and persistence. Pathlib question become, don't ask how do I, what is a file? A file is memory that survives programs. That's important concept. A program ends, a file remains. The same goes for database cloud. The persist systems API. This is where leverage exposed. Most beginner waste months here for I in range. Meanwhile, API lets you talk to AI, send emails, create websites. Another system, this concept worth 100 more than memorizing Pathlib methods. System design, this is the how understand input, output states, feedback, dataset, query caching, this is very interesting. Stock flow, feedback, constraints, output, exactly the same structure. AI can do Pathlib, so you shouldn't learn it. I mean, how do I? That means I should focus more on abstraction rather than focusing more on because this is the thing, AI is going to automate it. This is what I get from this kind of a chat GPT. I do not know if that is true. Everyone has their okay TED Talks. I think TED is my only savior here. Because if every couple day I have this fucking existential trauma about what's gonna happen to code or what's gonna happen to me, I'm fucked. If programming is gonna become natural language, then how would I? What is the edge? There's no edge. If everyone can program, then there's no actually function that. Files. How do we store files? Then we have modules. We can store files. I see. I do not have to learn syntax, experts in syntax, master syntax, fuck all that. I need abstraction. Like, yeah, it's natural language, but you still need abstraction. I finally starting to see fuck syntax. Fuck syntax for real. I need to understand structure. But then again, you need syntax to actually understand how structured data flows. I mean, it's like, yeah. Okay. I mean, what is this shit? Let's just fucking throw it away. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, what do you expect? Like, do you expect me to be a guy who understands everything? So if I do create something, I mean, I need to get basics of programming, how API functions, how dictionaries function, and I think if I understand that, I would be ahead of a lot of people. But I do not need to know how exactly the script is going on. I do not need to know what exactly going inside, because if I open up the PDF, guys, like look at the where's the not an ADS code PDF. Automate the boring stuff with Python. No, we're not going to read this. Eric Matheson's crash in Python. We're definitely going to read this. Open up, testing a function. So now we have testing a function. So we can test a function, but if I just open up, like if I can just open it up, and then I'll have right. So we have variables and simple data types. What are data types? String, integer, and all that kind of different stuff. We have the introducing list. We have working with list. We have if statement, dictionaries, import, while, loop, right. So now the structure should start to. So for example, I need to create an application, a note-taking application. Let's start building that right now immediately, right? Rather than actually focusing on syntax, let's just create a new folder, which is called like yeah. Let's just close these folders in my project. Like yeah, in Python work. Work, create a new folder called. So let's just close this. Add we're gonna have another chat. Fix. How do we have a new chat here? Do we have a new chat? So what I want you to do is actually create. Oh no! Now this is where it gets harder because I do not. This is getting harder, right? Because so first you need let's say if I want to build a note-taking app, every day it's gonna open up a new file on a page. So that's what we will have txt files, right? We'll have txt files, and these txt files would be stored, right? So we will have an input. So this is like a file that takes an input every day, and whatever the input that we given, it just continuously takes input, right? It's just always open and always taking, and it's always simultaneously updated and saved. And if you remove something, it's like removed from the txt file that is saved, and like so that's what persists, right? the txt file, and you're constantly updating the txt or md file, whatever that you have in Obsidian. And then, so you have an input, you have like all that input is constantly actually converted into or written down into a txt file, right? So you got that, right? So that is the first thing you got. How did people create it? The thing is, I finally made sense of it. The thing is, you do not need to know syntax. Actually, how you need to know how system works, how certain system persists. How did these people created something like Obsidian? How did they do it? That is the $1,000,000 question. Not what is the syntax is. Syntax is becoming obsolete. Syntax is becoming obsolete. So when you have a testing of when you have a testing your code, you test your code. But I think this concept is irrelevant. We have function, we have class, file, and exceptions. How file is stored. Then we have testing your code. We have a ship that fires the alien. We have data visualization. What is data visualization? We need this. Data visualization. Generating data. Data visualization involves inferring data through visual representation closely associated with data analysis, which uses code to expose the pattern and connection in data set. Second, we made up a small list of numbers to fit a line. Pip. So we've got pip. So we are installing certain things. We have generating data. We have downloading data, working with APIs. Web applications, right? Generating, starting with Dango. Synthline, deploying an app, right? So we have testing your code. In testing your code, we talks about testing a function. So we test a function, and if we saw if it worked out or not. So this is the syntax. But why the fuck should I focus on testing? Yeah. If code can open or generate a file, and if I can look at a file, no, I cannot, right? This is why that guy explodes or is able to create so many stuff. You do not need to understand. I think you need to get just basically the first thing. First name the function. This can create a series of first, and this the full name. So we have a testing a function that says the function. To learn about testing, we need to code to test. Here's a simple function that takes the first. So I got dictionaries, I got modules. So how we can have multiple modules that and kind of like imports functions. Like, but then again, I mean, like the structure and the logic behind the things that actually AI is create is gonna be far better. So, I mean, if I'm focusing on syntax, I'm gonna lose. Like, I'm really, really gonna lose by the end of a couple of years if I'm really focusing on syntax. Because because that's what I thought. I'll master the syntax and then I'll master the AI. But I think it's like master the abstraction, fuck the syntax. It's more like that rather than, So how is a system functioning, right? So you have modules. You have modules, right? The value of syntax is decreasing, right? Because of the AI. The more the AI becomes better, the more the value of the syntax in itself would decrease. But the value of abstraction, the ability to generate, would increase. So can we have a data structure? Like, how did the structure of a note-taking app like Obsidian functions? Can I use an AI to kind of like explain me that? And then I can create and replicate because I know exactly how they kind of structure functions, right? Chat, ChatGPT, could you tell me like how the structure of something like Obsidian, like you have this platform called Obsidian, right, which allows you to take notes. How does that structure functions? Like, what is like, how do they take data? How do they store data? How do they like create all that, like, all the things, like what are all the code? Like, give me the structure behind, like, how is the structure functioning? No, it's not getting what I said. Yeah, and understanding a function would allow you to actually create a better codes, but congratulations, AI can do it far more efficiently. Now, could you tell me the structure of Obsidian, like how Obsidian functions? Like, we have Obsidian, this note-taking app, and the structure behind it, and how did they create it? Like, yeah, how does all these note-taking apps function? And how is the code, the logic, the code that is structure behind it? I think, and this way we would be able to understand it far more efficiently than just syntax itself. Fantastic, because once you understand how auction work, you begin to understand how huge class of software is built. Most beginners see Obsidian, oh, this is magical note-type program. It's basically a giant collection of text file with a fancy user interface. A core Obsidian is philosophical MD, psychological system idea. That is, Vault is literally just a folder on your computer. So each node is simply Markdown hashtag philosophy. Nietzsche said psychology system, nothing special, no database, no cloud requirement, no hidden format, just text files. That simply is one of the reasons people love Obsidian. The graph view, now imagine graph every opens node and scans for psychology and systems. It interprets these as links. Links, it's not. So Obsidian stores something like can draw. So philosophy has link philosophy and systems, so that's how it's going to have links. And psychology have this links. It's an edges. Exactly the same data structure used in computer science. Where and loops to the file for file involved, entropy in file.content, show file. More advanced version built on index. This makes searching nearly instantaneous. So rather than searching that at, oh my lord. When you write systems Obsidian scans for hashtag. So when I say like make the search instantaneous, that means searching becomes instantaneous. This searching really instantaneous, right? So I can design a node as long as I have the abstraction. I see. I was playing the wrong game. I was playing the wrong game. But if I say instantaneous, it knows the dictionary can make it instantaneous. That means knowing even any of this is like I need feedback. I need more information. Everyone is saying their own bullshit. Oh my gosh. What is true? What is false? Try and accept. But for cases when so we have try and expect to actually test the cases where a person breaks our expectations, right? So we have that. So this is abstraction, right? We have testing the code. Why do we have testing the code? Testing a function because we have that so that we can test it. So I mean, hashtag Obsidian scan for hashtag read.findball. Yeah. Suppose black backlinks. Internally it's just reference by philosophy, which means Obsidian fields. So I must begin open node, search files, build. Obsidian keeps things in memory, something like Vault. File changes. Only the changed nodes get reprocessed. How the UI works. Modern next apps look roughly HTML, CSS, Java inside a extra wrapper. Electron. So Electron lets develop build extra using web technologies. The same used by Visual Cursor, Discord, Slack. So Obsidian is basically browser plus JavaScript plus file system access. User interface, Markdown renderer, file manager, local files. So you have a user interface at the top, your micro renderer that renders the thing, it stores the file, put them in a local file or something, right? Definition of the title, content. But I mean, why like with the same attributes, and then we can have like a class or modeling. But then again, like classes for the real asymmetry, like you can build classes. But then again, how do I store data using a class, and how do I build something like that? That is like, oh my gosh, it's like becoming at the top. The thing is, even if you get the syntax, I can literally not imagine how do I build an app from the things that I know. So that's the thing, is like just kind of like turning it to everything you're currently learning in Python list dictionary loops file is exactly foundation compatible basic. Book eventually reaches file classes larger projects because they are Dipper inside Obsidian looks sophisticated because it solves a human problem. Store knowledge, connect knowledge, retrieve knowledge, but underneath it's mostly files plus dictionary plus graph research plus user. Hey, is there a book out there that teaches you abstraction on the basis of how softwares are built? Like something that tells you where to use an API, where to use classes, where to use different kind of stuff, and how all those different kind of stuffs are interacting, how majority of the softwares are built, and in what relation they're built. Like something that gives the most asymmetric understanding of how programs are built in general. In general. But I still don't get the answer to my question. The coding study industry has a lot of entropy in it. It hasn't stabilized, and I literally don't know what to do. If I cannot predict a viable future, I cannot move forward. There's just lots of unpredictability. I mean, I do not know how the industry is going to look like in the next 10 years. There's literally no idea. Prompt engineer? Prompt? Because if the future of the code is just prompt engineering, like, then what matters? Because if AI could understand all of this logic that I'm building here, all of this logic, that means I do not need the logic layer of this at all. Right? I mean, because I'm building a logic layer that has no function, literally no function, because like how about you just try to build a how do you upload a file or how do you upload a software to browser? I don't know. What is the valuable thing I can create right now? I see. I'm going backwards. I'm going from bottom to up, which is kind of a true. But I mean, I did create something awesome using nothing but let me just show you. I created this. Uh, yeah, I created this in in really less amount of time. Like this is a simple regulator that regulates itself. Like as long as can I have my own understanding and more understanding of my own systems, I would not gonna need like because the memory learning stops. I mean, I can literally build games that people take decades to build. Just because I have the abstraction understanding of it. It's like what idea and what matters is like you need to create, not you need not to, you know. And what are APIs? I don't know. But APIs allows you to connect a lot of different softwares together. Right. They are like asymmetric understanding. I see now. Ah, I see. I do not need syntax at all. Like at all. Okay, sounds crazy, right? Sounds crazy, crazy. I mean, but what is AI? Like, can I create an AI with an AI, right? I mean, I can do that. How do we even create an AI? I cannot even imagine it. How do we even create a software? I cannot imagine it. But I can imagine creating a system that could actually I do not need to imagine that, right? Like, what do I need to know? I don't know. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Do I go for the syntax? Or do I not go for the syntax? This is making me cry because I have no idea. If AI is just gonna automate the entire thing, what I'm gonna do? Can I not just use the AI? But then again, like the skill I'm building is not the highest level skill for the future. That means it's not gonna lead to a lot of money. That's what I'm saying, right? And money matters, right? I do think I need abstraction abilities, like ability to like have because I can build. I mean, let's build something that I want. Yeah, let's try to build something first, because what I've been doing is like I'm learning, but let's just build first and learn later. Fuck learning for now. Let's just build something. Let's just file. We just open a folder, like we'll create a new and we'll just create an I don't know. Right, we'll just create a project scanner. Multiple. Yeah. Actually, so what I want is like one system or one AI to actually check on the files of dataset. That actually records the file. The file is the data goes in. So rather than that, I think I need a design. I need a system design, right? So you need a system one. Now you'll say, okay, what is a system one? And I'll say something that actually prays the data. Like this is the data that I have. It takes the data, transfers that data into multiple things, right? Like data praises the data. No, not that. I mean, something that actually understands the data. So everything is kind of like a data. So if you have a data and then it can understand and constantly reason something about the data itself or something like that, then we can actually build something. So we need, it takes Obsidian nodes and it loads them to an API or uploads them to a to online or something. They kind of like praises that's trying to find out what is biologically and evolutionary true. So something that can collect data about that from online. So can we create a data scrapper, something that collects the data from online? It collects the data from online and about like PDF and all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, so it collects PDF. It collects PDF that are available. And then it tries to find, okay, what is that is said here is biologically and evolutionary true and evolutionary and civilization. Like, yeah, but then again, we cannot corrupt the data. And how do we know that data is not corrupted? That means we need to create a system that could actually allows us to have feedback. And that data becomes the default for our feedback. That means it is experimented and tested true, and there has been data that actually proves it right or wrong. Collect biology. Can we create something that can actually scraps data for us from online? Specific data. This collector we can do that. Research respects automation, authenticity, rate limit, Drupal rules, and sign-in terms. Detects duplicates or page layout changes. Send me the target website, the exact data fields. Implement it. Right. So that's actually a good thing we already got, guys. So there is something that can actually scrape data for us from online. So it can like collects data. So we need system one that collects data, and actually, because what I'm trying to build here is I'm trying to build something that actually collects data from the online. So that is like the first thing. And let me just quickly created now. So there's something that collects data, right? And there's something, okay, yeah, and there's something that recursively collects data from online and checks it. But how do you check if data is scientifically true or not? If it has empirical evidence, but how do you have certain sort of data and how do you check? That means there's someone who collects data. There's someone who collects data. There's someone who collects data. So there's like, this is the collector who continuously collects the data, right? Now there's someone who checks whether the data that is collected is correct or not, right? Empirically. Collects the data. This is like collects the data, and there's someone that checks the data if the quality of the data is correct or not. But how do we make something that actually checks the quality of the data? For example, ah, what evidences in the data itself supports the thing empirically? And then we have to define what empirically means. Ah, but humans have built causality everywhere. They can give solution and justification to everywhere. What is empirically? Something that can be tested and predicted. That means if consuming less glucose would lead to less functioning in hippocampus, and that can happen every time. That means it is predicted. But worshipping to a god, if it's that means something that tests causality. But how do you tell a program to test the causality in the Galec data from the data itself? That means something that scrapes the data online, and then there's something that actually tests the data, right? So we have system one that collects the data, which takes the data from the online input, and then there's another system that actually, or a system within a system that actually checks whether the data has a causality or not, right? So what I want you to do is actually build a system that constantly collects the data from online and it just randomly collects any data that it's fine. It's not a specific website, right? But then we'll bias the system first. But it will constantly collect data from the fields that matters the most scientifically and has the highest amount of feedback and causality and predictability density. From that, I mean anything that has been found or is the part of data can be used to predict some future consequences accurately. And there have been data that shows that this form of data can be used to predict the future accurately. That means any data that helps in prediction and allows us to accurately predict the future more accurately with higher probability would be saved, and any different data would be removed. So there would be two systems. The system one that actually constantly gets the data from online, from any sources, from from PDF to random books to everything, and there would be another system that would check whether this data can allows us to predict the future accurately and assign a probability to how accurately it can allow us to predict the future. And it constantly updates that probability. Every specific form of line or data that has been stored in the system would have their own specific probability of being true in terms of predicting the future. That now, how can it make so now we are working in terms of prediction, right? So if the prediction is true, But that is noise. Even if, like, if you collect random data is noise. So we cannot collect random data because the random data is noise, because a lot of people say, oh, I can sleep 5 hours a day. That's just bullshit. Human do needs 8 to 9 hours of sleep. But a lot of people say I can survive on a keto diet throughout my life. That's just bullshit. A lot of people say a lot of bullshit, and bullshit is what contradicts the data. But if there's something that contradicts the data too much, then we have this issue that we would not know what is data at all, because if it's getting contradicted by too many humans, then we're kind of fucked, because like, even if the data is absolutely true and gives us maximum predictive power, it's like, yeah, but the data, let's bias. The only option we have is to bias the incoming data. That means any data that comes in the system is tested or proven. That means workspace, turn it into an architecture with measurable forecasting performance. The key technical correction is that value cannot be assigned to arbitrary lines without target or out of sampling scoring. The worksheet appears empty, so this is a new project. I'll build a safe initial version of public, explicitly config sources rather than interesting crawling with provision duplication. Quality will be only after data outcomes resolve using BR scrolls and calibration. Unsupported text will obtained with provides a content, not silently. This is a better proof because it's like stored. So now they would not be actually stored as unpredictable, they would be just stored. Oh yeah, it's AI teaching me how to build better systems by building system for me. So now what happens? They take it as, they do not actually reject the data. It's just latent there. Like, so any data that it scrapes, it's just latent. And after, when there's enough evidences, the data would actually have a higher probability. So no data is actually kind of rejected or thrown away. It's just stored there for the better performance. Right. And with this, we can actually build a system that allows us to have better prediction over the reality. So we can append data simultaneously by ourselves and then actually predict how. Let's see. I don't know how it's gonna even do that. I mean, how is it ever gonna do something like that? Like, how is it even gonna check? I do not have any abstraction ability to know at all how this is gonna do that, and it will take decades to build that abstraction ability. Trust me, to build something like this. I don't have any fucking idea. I don't have any fucking idea. I literally have no fucking idea. I don't know. Oh man. It's still thinking. Oh, finally, something has appeared. So it creates a README file. And let's just open the future signal. Future signal is the province first prototype for collecting configured public sources and evaluate explain probability forecast against later outcome. It does not claim that text predicts the future. Predicting value only exists relative to defined question, outcome, deadline, and evaluation. Evaluation said the system therefore stores the source provinces and keep distance things. Okay. Source the heuristic triad based on quantitative and research fuse credibility on the evidence level feed for later results quality assessment probability a forecast made before a data outcome is known. Brief score objective accuracy after resolution lower is better. Collector read only an explicit source allows checks the limits downloads to 10 MB text and optionally PDF hashes SQLite evidence layer prevents SQLite. I don't know what that is. Evidence layer split documents into duplicate chunks. It never turns irrelevant into a truth claim. Irrelevant heuristics into a truth claim. Okay. Evaluator record. It includes public sorting estimate and PDF extractions. Try different slick probabilistic forecast for a probability revision history. Outcome resolution using barrier scores, calibration reporting, CLI and automated tests. Important conjecture. Arbitraries cannot receive a meaningful future prediction probability without a specific event, deadline, or measurable outcome. The implication enforces the distinctions in the entry and confidence. Full PyTest execution was enabled because PyTest is not installed. Scoring .ui. How do I run it? Oh, you can download PyTest for yourself. So we cannot make a prediction if we do not have a condition or circumstances. Like, what is even a prediction, right? Like, what if we try to define prediction mathematically using that? Like, what is even a prediction? A bit, right? Like, okay. Prediction is stable forms or something that from information theory we can say that much, but of course I do not know information theory right now as of now, so I cannot do that. Create a forecast, nothing. I know it must have done hundreds of things that a normal programmer would never even be able to understand. It tried its best, huh? And if you cannot, then just tell me how do I download it myself and how do I run this program. I've given it full access. I think it would be able to do it. Yeah, so it's saying that you cannot test a prediction, right? How can anything be like, yeah, future probability without a specific event, deadline, or measurable outcome? Project scanner. Can it not actually search for the sources by itself or a random source generalization that actually gets a Just fetch the most important website online. Fetch. Which gives the highest amount of data that actually allows us to make better future prediction, and run the program by yourself. Just create a file where I can directly run just create a file through which I can just directly run code by using Control+B, because like in VS Code, they allows us to directly run a file or a program using a file by using Control+B. And create a basic user interface. That means it must open up in a new tab. Credibility requires resource specification. Where the fuck? It takes a lot of time to build certain specific thing. I can go back to read the thinking in systems. I think I would run up. Uh, it's only 22% left. But that means I could have a system that actually tells us which books gives the most asymmetric information, completed with 60,883 observation and no fill from early prototype previously confirmed. This one auto refreshes every 6 hours. 9% users left. What kind of prediction is it even making? Yeah, it built it garbage. It built it garbage. Yep. If the prompts are not detailed, it builds garbage. a book collector. First of all, I think I build a successful garbage because I just gave it a random prompt. But let's first we need to create a book collector. There's and then we need a book library. Right. Once you give an abstract bullshit, it creates abstract bullshit. It just ended up creating some abstract bullshit that's no point. No one's who's ever gonna fucking use it, like honestly. There's so many different errors. I do not know anything about the code. I do not know what's happening, what's not happening, what kind of things happening. I can just see a lot of complex things just happening. There's no logic that I understand. Is this how I'm gonna create a business? The thing is creating complex. Oh man. Learning, I think, yeah, this is for today, guys. We didn't reach any conclusion as to how to study and what to do. No conclusion at all. Absolutely no conclusion. I didn't realize anything. I didn't got anything. My learning got scripted, and now it's time for the lunch, and I literally have no idea what to do. So, yeah.